Well, first I want to apologize to our speaker, Mago Torres, because this week has been back and forth, back and on again, off again. And so I thank you for your flexibility joining us today. Some of you may be familiar with Pinpoint or not. How many are using it or have used it? Kind of, sort of, maybe one. Okay, well, good. Well, this will be new. So the aim here is to sort of explain a tool, I think a valuable tool for all of us. And it goes to not only performing just traditional searches, but when you're on deadline and a volume of files lands on your desk, whether it's the Epstein files or a volume of court records, you need to make sense of them and fast. And we're lucky to have Mago here, who is a Google News trainer, to introduce or reintroduce the tool that can help enrich your reporting. Mago is a longtime data journalist and a newsroom leader at the intersection of investigative journalism, data, and research, working with journalists and news organizations to build partnerships. So please welcome Mago, and I'll turn it over to you, and I'll let you sort of set the ground rules, whether you want them to ask questions as you go, or do you want to reserve time for Q&A later. So I'll let you outline how you'd like to proceed.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you have had an eventful week in DC. When I first moved to the US, DC was the first place where I lived, so I was there for 2.5 years. I'm originally from Mexico City, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you. So yeah, I am happy with you asking questions as we move forward. I think that as I'm gonna start doing the presentation, especially when we got into the demo part, is going to be like understanding what kind of questions you have will be. It will make it like richer for everyone. Yeah, feel free to move forward how you want to do it. So what I'm going to present to you today is Pinpoint for journalists. I want to tell you a little bit. I'm sorry. Here it is. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I joined the Google News Initiative as a trainer for North America 5 months ago. Before that, I was a data editor for different. I have been data editor, data researcher for different organizations. I worked for the examination doing international investigations on global public health. I was data editor also for the Latin American Center for Investigative Reporting. That is an organization based in Latin America. And I have worked in different long-form investigations like Panama Papers, Pandora Papers, FinCEN Files, and that kind of investigations. And being able to have like over the shelf or a tool that is helpful to work with several documents is just like absolutely fantastic. As someone that had to work with thousands of documents, and not only that, but also you were working with a lot of journalists and how you want to like have information close and understandable for everyone, and that people can share the information is key. So those are the different features that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and happy to answer questions as we move forward. I want to start just to tell you what the Google News Initiative does. We support the group work of newsrooms and journalists by offering digital tools and resources with the purpose of bolstering efforts to find, verify, and tell engaging stories. We do this in from three different perspectives. One is advancing the practice of quality journalism, also strengthening and evolving publisher business models, and also cultivating a collaborative global news community. And we offer both in-person and online sessions, and this is done in about 14 languages around the world. And just a little bit of by the numbers, what the Google News Initiative has done since launching in 2018, with presence in 119 countries, like working with news partners in 119 countries, with about 300 million in global funding. We have over almost 7,000 news partners, and have been training 2.5 million journalists, which is very exciting, and just to continue doing it today. So the session today, what we're going to do, this is our agenda, is going to be an introduction to Pinpoint. I'm going to also, it's just like, what is Pinpoint? How can journalists can use Pinpoint? Share with you some use cases for you to know what has been. I'm sorry, I changed computers and I'm a little bit struggling with that. So if you see me like pausing, is because I'm back and forth with that. And getting started with Pinpoint. So we're gonna have like a live demo. So by the hands that I saw, just asking again, only one person seems that have worked with Pinpoint before. That's correct. Has anyone else have like heard about Pinpoint, or this is like your very first intro to the tool? If anyone could say.
Nodding heads, first time introduced to the tool.
This is a completely new introduction. Okay, that's good. I'm glad. I'm happy to show this for the first time. Yeah. Okay. So with that say, let's start with our first topic. It's just like introducing Pinpoint. You can go to the website, like you can just like Google Pinpoint, and you're gonna have access to it. This is a research tool that helps reporters and academics analyze. The main purpose is to analyze large collections of documents. And what we are going to see is just like, what do we mean by large collections of documents, and how can we talk about analyzing lots of documents? I'm curious, has any of you worked with like work with a big chunk of document for any of your stories?
Yes.
What? Yeah. Okay. And what are some of the challenges that you have when you have to analyze or use different large documents for your investigations or your stories?
I think typically when it's like a large dump, like this right now, like we have a lot of large dumps coming out of like House oversight about like the Epstein files. It can be hard when you're especially on a deadline, and at least for my outlet, we want something up as quick as possible. It's hard to scan, some pages full, names and dates, and without missing some key stuff at times.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So we're going to see that there are many ways of approach to documents, and as someone that has worked with lots of documents and duplicated documents and things like that, it's just like maybe like some, like when you start using Pinpoint, like what kind of techniques or strategies could help you just like to start, and the tool offers by default just like to start understanding what you have. So yeah, so you can go you can Google and start. This tool is available for journalists and researchers. If you don't have access right now, like if you have to request access, the team works very, very fast. Since today is Friday, but you will have access as soon as possible. And if you get the access, if you have a company Google Workspace account, maybe you already have it by default. So just for you to know, and if you have it, like you can start like also following the when we do the demo, like what I am doing. In general, Pinpoint helps you with what is this helpful for? Well, for doing investigative reporting, to do what was mentioned, like breaking news analysis, how you can use the tool, audio and video transcript. That is like one of the most common ways in how reporters and editors use the tool, for fact checking, for collecting notes, and searching archives. So those are the main ways in how Pinpoint can help you. So let's go a little bit more into the details. As we say, like one way is to search through thousands of documents. That is the main aspect. We're going to see. You start, create a collection, upload your documents, and you can start doing some searches. And there are other elements that I'm going to talk about. When you have audio or video files, it automatically do a transcription and create a PDF file, and it also becomes searchable when you do your searches. It has also the capacity to transform when you have a set of documents that have like a similar structure across the documents. You can collect information and create sortable tables or download as a spreadsheet. I don't know if any of you have worked with data or has interest in data, but for those of us that have worked with the numbers, just extracting information is like almost takes a lot of time. So this is an amazing tool, and can reduce time when you have a similar structured document. That's one of the key. And the newest thing is that the product team has been adding really amazing generative AI features inside the tool to get insights and get some information from your documents, which I think is very, very exciting. How do you do the search through thousands of documents? As I said, you upload the document. You can upload from your Google Drive. You can upload from your computer, and then you get the types of documents are vary considerably, but you can search within them. It has handwriting recognition, which is amazing. Images, audio, crazy audio transcriptions, email archives. I'm gonna the next slide actually is you're gonna have an overview of all the types of files that Pinpoint supports, and yeah, it's very, very broad. And you can use advanced search if you are familiar with advanced search elements, when you Google to be more specific about the information that you are looking for. You can look for exact match, combine keywords, exclude some terms, and it's very helpful. And the other one is understanding and filter documents by key people, organizations, states, and locations. I don't know if you're familiar with this term, but it's like what we would call entity extraction, where we say like, oh, we have a set of documents, and if you work with someone that is in the data team or in the tech team in a news organization, so like we need to extract the entities. Is like we are talking about the key names of people, of organizations, of companies, locations, depending on the type of documents that you're working with. Just to give an example, when we were working on the Panama Papers, we have to go like one of the key entities that we were looking for were the name of the companies, the offshore companies that were created. Or maybe you are looking in some files, or if you are looking into a big collection of, let's say, public meetings in a very specific location, and you have the list of names of people that show up in the meetings and speak and talk in these meetings, and getting the names of these people, that's an entity extraction. So these are all the types of files that you can upload to Pinpoint: PDF files, images files, audio files. Look at all those options: emails and email archives, slideshows, Word documents, and also video. If if for whatever reason you have a form, a type, a file type that is not supported currently at Pinpoint, you can reach out to the team. As I mentioned at the beginning, this tool has been created for journalists, and just like being able to offer all the support is key for the team behind Pinpoint. So if you got a very strange file through a FOIA request and you want to use it, like, you can ask and see what is possible. For transcription and searching video and audio and video files, what Pinpoint does is, like, you upload your file, your audio file, and it's gonna create a TXT file. So basically, it's gonna transcribe the audio, and that text is going to become searchable within, like, we're going to see like how you can search for terms in your collection of documents, and that text and that is also searchable. You will be able to select part of the, like, if you have a quote, something that somebody said, and you select that, and you are going to be able to hear it again. And this is really good. I don't know if you noticed, but I have an accent. My English is my second language, and something that I have noticed sometimes is that when I speak the transcription, maybe it doesn't get everything accurate. So Pinpoint offers you the option to edit the text if there's there needs to be a correction, or a name was not well transcribed or something, so you can fix that text. And you can copy, highlight, that what I mentioned. You can copy and highlight the text. And something that I love is this part where it says copy, highlight, and highlight text. And something, I don't know how you work your drafts, when you work in middle or like in complex stories, and having a draft and highlight text, and when you pass it to the fact checker, it's just like, I have gone through so many I went through so many painful moments because of how we need to, when you are working as a long document, you want to pass the very specific page and quote from a document, like a very specific sentence, and it's going to pass through an editor, through a collaborator, through a fact checker, and just being able to provide that very specific quote. Just remember this the copy highlight is just like, it's a very small thing that Pinpoint offers, but I think is when you have to take a lot of care of not missing a piece of information. I think it's an amazing tool, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And the other thing I was mentioning is how it can transform this similar structure information or documents into searchable tables, and then you can work on as a spreadsheet and do some form of data analysis. And I think it's just like very, very helpful. And the generative AI features. I'm gonna pass I have a list of all these links. I'm gonna send them to Kevin, and I think Kevin can and can provide all of these to you. For having access to the generative AI features, you have, for early access, you have to opt in. They're not gonna show up by default. So you have, if you already went to the website, you're going to see that it's apply for early access to generative AI. If you want to do it, you just have to opt in. And because it's what happened? Oh yeah, we're here. Yeah, and generative AI features is vary by country, but everyone is in the US, I think so. Yeah, but I can provide I'm going to also provide the link, so if you are curious, if you have to travel, if there are changes, or if you work with newsroom or editors that are somewhere else, just like, and you want to review that, I'm going to provide those links for you to have them. How the generative AI features help, you can to ask questions to understand better your collection of documents. is gonna, I don't know if you have used algún, I was speaking Spanish, some type of chatbot, or you have used Gemini. You create your prompt, and use and also the chatbot is going to help you like through the content. Going to say like, well, these documents talk about this. Maybe you want to ask about this or ask about that. So it offers some insights there. We're going to see how that works. Something that it's very relevant for us journalists is like to know that, like, to take care of the privacy of the documents that we're working with. So we just like always communicate document collections. Everything is private by default. You can make collections public, but you have to go through a whole selection. So you won't make your collection of documents public by mistake. It really has steps there, and is protected by Google industry leading privacy and security technologies. How are we going so far? Is there any questions so far? Yeah.
This is Michael from CNN. How does Google respond to like government requests for information or subpoenas with those documents? It makes me very nervous sort of uploading all my reporting material. Where can it be accessed like that?
Yeah, Google receive requests. All the Google notifies users very, very quickly. But what I would say is, if there's any materials that you don't feel comfortable to put on your Google Drive or put on an email, treat Pinpoint the same way. I have working documents where it's just like you don't put them anywhere, right? So just like being mindful of that. I'm going to include in my list of links, and thank you for asking that. I'm going to put in this, like, the Google publishes the transparency of the requests, so there's a transparency report related to this. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Nope. Okay. I'm going to show you some use cases. We didn't test this, but let's see. Can you just react somehow if you can listen? You can hear the audio of this video that I'm gonna put. Yeah, it's 2 minutes.
Okay.
What is so critical about local journalism is building trust. You have to build a relationship with people in the community so that they are willing to be open with you, and that takes time.
Eu perdia muito tempo tratando dado, ou até mesmo achando uma forma de extrair ele de lugar para outro. Então, o uso dessas ferramentas de tecnologia, de inteligência artificial, como o Pinpoint, facilitam esse processo, né, e nos dão, né, mais tempo para a gente trabalhar naquilo que realmente interessa.
Pinpoint is an AI-powered tool for sorting through large sets of documents and pulling out specific information that you're looking for. We saw that Hillsborough County had the highest rate of lead poisoning in all of Florida. We acquired thousands of pages of documents covering all sorts of things that were going on inside of this factory. We could see that the air lead level was above the regulatory standard. The story won the Pulitzer, and as a result of our reporting, the regulators changed their practices, and it stopped there.
We are able to do a lot more as a small team. We produce over 25 different podcasts. So anything that cuts down the production time is very helpful. Now with Pinpoint, when we upload the audio, you get the transcription in minutes, and it's very accurate. You have a dedicated space where all your transcriptions are, and you can tag them, and it becomes really easy for you to cross-reference.
There were these plans to convert a hotel into a shelter for the unhoused in Asheville, and those plans had somehow been waylaid. There was just a lot more complexity to this story than we ever imagined at the outset. Being able to connect the dots from those documents, I don't think we would have been able to do that without Pinpoint.
A Amazônia, ela é uma coisa gigantesca. A gente mapeou quase 40 projetos de crédito de carbono em terras indígenas da Amazônia, quase todos eles com indícios de violações de direitos dos povos indígenas. Começamos a recolher contratos, documentos em PDF, com mapas, entrevistas, e a gente começou a classificar, né? A gente poderia taguear ali, né, com o assunto. Facilitou muito a gente ficar indo e voltando.
All this saves time and helps in reaching out to more people, addressing more issues.
Democracy doesn't just exist in the White House or in Congress. It exists here in the city council meetings, and I'm excited about the possibility, especially on a small team, to carve out the time and space to do these deeper investigations.
What is causing the delay?
I think that local reporters who can embrace AI tools and technology are going to find that they have more time to spend on the human elements of their stories and the stuff that only they can do.
That is an overview of some of the cases of reporters in newsrooms in different parts of the world that have used Pinpoint. Other cases is that the Boston Globe, the main feature that used was search and OCR, that is like transforming PDFs, images, or whatever in text that is searchable. And they won the Pulitzer Prize in this investigation that in some parts use Pinpoint. Maria Reza has been a user since the beginning. Backlight was its first name before it was Pinpoint, and also did a very important investigation that helped to search through historical documents. La Nación, Tomás Balmaceda, I think he doesn't work there anymore, but this is in Argentina, and it has used Pinpoint for transcription and was very helpful in breaking news stories, or just like extracting the text very quickly. Zetland, this is an investigation in Denmark. They use transcription and search. They had to do a lot of handwritten letters from early 1900s. So Pinpoint was very relevant for them to be able to search through handwritten, and that also came OCR and extract the information. And they won the most, I think it's the highest investigative journalism award in Denmark. And also Radio Free Europe used search and OCR, same, to be able to get text from handwritten notes. And they have a collection of documents, public, I think. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the cases. So I'm gonna show you very quickly. I'm curious, how many of you are looking into Pinpoint in your devices, or are you trying to follow with Pinpoint? Like, have you had access? Cool. That sounds great. I'm gonna just show you a little bit. I'm gonna be alternating between my presentation and start doing a live demo for you, and we can see what we find. Sounds good?
Mago, I have a quick question.
Yes.
This is Sydney Clark with National Press Foundation. For the video files, like, are there any file size limitations?
Yes. Yes, there are size limitations, and actually sometimes what I will say is, I don't have the number right now. I'll look for it. But if you have a very large size and Pinpoint is not letting you upload it, you can reach out to the Pinpoint team, and they can help you if there's a need of an extended capacity.
Okay.
For your documents. Yeah. What is going to happen with very large text files, for example, if you have like a 500 pages document, is that it splits it in different documents.
Okay.
But if you have some specific needs because of this yeah, if you have some very specific needs, you can reach out and say like, I need these, how can I solve this issue? Because it's not that very common situation that all the documents are super long or all the video files or audio files are super heavy.
Thank
Is
you.
this helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so are you looking? Yeah. When you start, this is what you're going to see. As this is what I was mentioning. Like when you want to have early access to the generative AI features, this is where you have to apply to fill the form. And here there are also case studies, other case studies. I mentioned some of them. Some are in the video that we saw, but you can also, if you want to have a little bit of inspiration or just know what other people are doing, that's a good place to start. When you go to get started, what you are gonna see is this is how it looks like for me, because I already have some collections prepared. Like I already have collections here, but that's you can start a new private collection. You can start you can put the name of the collection. I'm just gonna put over 3, and it's gonna start. It's gonna look empty, but I can upload the documents from here, either from my connected to my drive or my computer. And once you upload your documents, it's gonna start processing, and once they are all available, it is gonna tell you, and it's gonna look something like this. All your documents are going to be in the same place. They're gonna look like this. I want you to see like some details. This very specific collection that you are seeing in the screen has some documents where images. So you can see here it says JPG and it says PDF. So this was a transformation of the document, right? So that's how they're gonna appear. I think there's another one. They're here. These are some of the elements. If you go to explore, this was my workspace. Come on, computer. There you go. There you go. You are going to see collections of documents that other organizations have made public. Here, where it says all organizations, you can see all the newsrooms that have published these stories, that have public collections, and you can search by terms. I would recommend to start searching here. Maybe there could be documents that can be helpful for you, and you can look there. I maybe want to look for, there are some documents from CNN. I see someone mentioned that it's from CNN. The Washington Post has public collections. I want to see AP, and I can see some of the collections that they have. Maybe there's something here that I want to see, sign or on or after this collection of documents, if I want to see something. So I think it's very recommended to look into just public collections. Maybe there's something that can be helpful. And let's say that I want to see these documents. I'm very sorry. Yeah. If I go to one document, it has like the AP has this one, and I can go here and I can download the original file. Once you make the collection public, you can do this. So if you want to reuse it, that's something that you can do, because it's already public. If you can see here, this collection, it has some tabs. That's one of the features when you create your collection. I'm very sorry, my computer is very, very slow and is having some issues. So I'm gonna try to solve this situation. Let's see. I'm gonna close this. Okay. Once I went back to this NASA demo collection. It's a collection that we have. This is from NASA files. I uploaded all my documents, and by default, this is telling me you have 40 documents here. If every time I see this star, I know it's a AI feature. So let's start with the not AI features in this collection. And I will go to these 3 lines. And this is what I was saying about entity extraction, right? Immediately, by default, Pinpoint is telling me the most common names and in how many documents this name appear, what are the most common organizations, and in how many documents these organizations and locations. So let's say that I want to know, I only want to see those that mention Voice of America. And if I click here, it's gonna filter them out. I can remove that filter here. Maybe I want these 2 files to have a specific tag because I want to start organizing my own information. So I can select them, start a tag, create a new tag, and write Voice of America. And I'm gonna make it orange. So I now have a tag. So next time I want to remove it here, and I'm gonna be able to organize this information. Here, same with the names, all the names that appear here. And this is what I was saying, like entity extraction. Everything is displayed in English. What happens if maybe I have a collection of documents that are in Spanish, so I want to see the original name. Let's say, I'm just making an assumption, I'm going to change it to Spanish in America, Latin America, and it's going to change some of the names of, for example, instead of Smithsonian Institute, it's going to say Instituto Smithsoniano. So you can select the language of your files and your either text or audio. Just notice that this applies for the whole collection. I'm going to go back to English. Audio files is a little bit more limited in the languages available, but you can see everything that is available, and it went back to English. When you want to,
Mago, I have a
yeah,
question.
yes.
Kevin. I see the filter collection there. Is that something that needs to be set, or is that set automatically? You need
to set it.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I'll go again. Let's say that now I want to identify, I'm very interested in Buzz Aldrin. And that's the person that I want to see. So I selected the documents, or I selected all of them, but I can just select them all are here. And here it appears this little icon that says label documents, and I can create it. I already have something called like the tag, so I'm just going to highlight it. But if I want to create a new one, I will create it here. And I apply, and now I have it. And it appears here as a filter. Can you see on top below the search space? So if I remove it from there, it removes, and they appear visually here. And here, Pinpoint is also reminding me the labels that already exist.
Okay.
Mhm. You can search. Of course, you can use the search space if you want to look for something very specific. If you happen somebody gives you or you obtain a set of documents from a FOIA request and you want to put them there, you can start, like, let's say it's like public meetings in a specific county. I used to live in Chicago for 5 years. I was in Cook County in Chicago, in Illinois, and I have all of them. And I want to see how many of them mentions education. I can do the search education, but maybe I want to see those that talk about education, but doesn't touch Chicago public schools. So I can put, like, I will do the search, advanced search, um, and I can say, but not Chicago public school. So just when you are doing the search, it's just how you can use the same operators that you will do in a regular search to narrow what you're looking for in understanding your documents. There's something really cool. And this, one of the things I really like to do is to look into companies, public companies' annual reports. I think there's a gold mine of information there. And understanding, for example, how a company will express, if I'm looking into oil companies, and how one company I think it's BP, in the UK, may talk about their risk in their annual reports versus Chevron annual reports. It's just like using different words. It's just like, can I understand this? So if you know some keywords, a search word, Pinpoint is going to recognize similar matches. So let me show you this one. So I know this is a NASA collection, and I know it talks about something related with the moon. So I'm going to search for moon here. And what Pinpoint is going to recognize, actually, the word lunar. So if you have other terms, depending on what is in your collection, and you search right terms, and Pinpoint recognizes similar matches. And I think, like, when we are doing some reporting and trying to figure out some of the words and that the documents contain, is very helpful to do this kind of searches. So I think this is like something very very helpful. I'm looking here because I want to be sure I have all the features. Another one. How are we going? Going well? Yeah. Perfect. If you have questions, please let me know.
Question.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Leah. I'm with CQ Roll Call, and a lot of what I do is like compare two different versions of the same bill. Is there like a PDF compare tool where you can kind of like where it shows you what's different in each document?
Yes. I have the answer for you. That is in the AI features. So let me finish with the non-AI features, and we will go there. Sounds good?
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. Something that I mentioned is also the handwriting recognition. Something I didn't mention, if you have a small collections like this one has images and different elements, you can just click here and you're going to see the next document. So I want you to see here that it says Prof tree. So this is a PDF, this is handwritten, and I can already select it. That's how handwritten recognition happens. Sometimes it's depending on the handwritten is more complex. It could be more difficult, but same again. If you have like a unique case and you want to figure it out, you can reach out to the team, because the more information they have is how also the tool can improve and support your work. So here, for example, what I'm going to do with my keyboard is you're going to say copy. I just like command copy, and I have this Google Doc. I'll share it in a minute. I just want to be sure that my computer is not going to crash here. So I have this Google Doc, And I want you to see, I did copy and I am gonna put paste, and it recognized the text. So this is just like for you to see how Pinpoint can recognize handwritten in documents. And then let's see the audio feature. This is the MP3 file. Yeah. So the way it's gonna make pause is gonna recognize audio is like when there are pauses in the person that is speaking. So here I'm just gonna put it all and it said like.
This is Neil Armstrong. My fellow Apollo 11 crewmen and I would like to invite you to take a close look at our spacecraft Columbia while it is in your state. Columbia.
So that's the text. Let's say that he didn't say this is Neil Armstrong. What he said was, these are Neil Armstrong and Mago Torres. And I can save it. And this is gonna appear. It's not gonna change the original audio because that's not what it says. But sometimes when you can identify a mistake, you can fix it. And something that I work a lot with entity extraction, and something that happens here is because I added the name and let's say that I corrected the document and I look for Mago Torres, it appears as one of the entities here. So if there's something that could be like not, there's a problem with the transcription and you fix it, it's also going to be recognized across the document and when you do your searches. But we know that, oops, I'm gonna fix that because I was definitely not there. So that's how you work with the edit, can edit and fix the transcription. There's something else I'm gonna do it here. It happens equally in text and transcription and transcribe files. I select this sentence. I want you to remember every time we see this little star is an AI feature. I'm gonna leave it this for later. We just finished this and we will go to the AI features. But this is something that I found extremely helpful. That is the highlight and get the link. Let's say that this is my draft. Let's say that I'm working on this draft. That is a very complex draft that I use that specific quote and I'm gonna insert it here as a footnote. And what I can do, I want this very specific quote, a very specific document for the fact checker to see it. And if you see here, it generates the very specific link to very specific sentence in the document that I share. So if I go to the document, it's going to take the person, that link is going to take it specifically to that very specific quote. When we are working with documents that have 300 pages, it's just like a lifesaver. It saves time. And when you have, depending on the type of a story, right? But it's very complex and it's not only the editor, the ones that have to see it, but also the fact checker, and there we go to the lawyer review, whatever, like all the evidence is contained in one place. And I think that when you work in collaborations, when you have like a team of people working on something, you want to be very accurate. Having this as an alternative is just like, I just found it extremely helpful. Okay, let's go to the AI features. We were here. Oh, and when you search by date, you can put the date, when you search by date, if you say like, well, I want to look into a very specific time frame within these documents, Pinpoint is going to recognize, even though the search indicates to use a year, month, day format, in the document is going to be able to recognize if they are in different format in within the documents, and it's gonna be very helpful. So now let's go to the AI features. And this is the question. I'm gonna change the collection because I think it's just like understanding difference. When I was mentioning, for example, I like to look into annual reports. I think there's a lot of information. So I have this is a collection that has 4 annual reports for Chevron. These are the glossy reports, and this is how it looks like. Right? There's a lot of information there, and it's already telling me that this one has 104 pages. If I go to the other one, it's 116 pages. Same for 2022 and 114 pages for 2023. But what if I want to, the AI features can tell me I can compare. So I want to look into the documents in the annual reports between 2021 and 2023, and I want to compare how I can give it a topic or not, or I can give it and that's going to be the key. And this is to the question that was made. I'm sorry, I'm sorry I missed the name. But this is how you can select 2 documents to compare. In this case, these are not the same. It's 2 different years, but it's like these annual reports follow the same format. So I want to know how I remember what risks. And I want to understand what are the risks. Well, companies can talk about environmental risk, like this type of companies, or legal risk, financial risk, whatever. So I'm asking, and I'm just telling that I want to understand what risks are described by year. And I just highlighted 2 documents here. I'm very specific, and it's going to tell me here, like Pinpoint is going to give you like different reminders of what you're doing here. I can say it's telling me you are asking to compare between 2 documents, and if I remove the check marks, it's going to tell me in the entire collection, or actually I'm going to ask only for 3 years. So you can mark it like that, and I'm going to say compare. It's going to take a little bit of time. And it's telling me that I can keep going. They will give me my answers in a little bit. Actually, I already had a comparison before, and I said and I did a comparison between 2 documents. I asked for environmental impact, and this is also, I think, something very important that we care about when we're doing journalism, is that we want to know exactly where the information comes from. So I asked it to compare 2 documents here, and with the topic of environmental impact. And this is the response that generative AI, that Gemini is giving to me. It's just like, this is both documents state this and this and this, but it's giving me the source of information. So what this number is telling me is this sentence, we are getting it from 2 places. And if I click there, it's telling me from where it is coming. So it's always going to indicate why it is saying. So I think like even when we're using the generative AI features, but we want to go, it's going to always link us to the original source, and it's always within our collection of documents. So this is one way in which you can use Gemini to compare 2 documents. And what you can do, if you have 2 documents and you, depending on the comparison, you know better with the type of context, and I will be very interested if you use it and how it's being helpful. If you want to share with me, that will be amazing. Oh my God, my idea, like, that you work on your prompt. right? Like just like if you can make it like more specific. I want you to compare these two documents, organize it like this. That you test that type of information. Okay, and this is comparison. You can, if you only have an answer, if you are only looking for answers, you can also type your question and ask it to answer. We did manual labeling of collections, right? When with the NASA demo, and Kevin asked, I did these labels out manually because there was something very specific that I knew that I was there. But you can also try the generative AI features to label documents. My condition is that the documents that contain photograph. I think I already created. Yeah. Photos 2, I'm going to put it. And I'm going to say identify, but this case I'm using Gemini. I'm like documents that contain a photograph, because I already know that there are some here. And I'm going to say label. The generative AI feature is working. Huh, interesting. I know there are labels, so I can documents that contain images. That's it. So now it identifies. So I changed my prompt and identified 20 documents that have photos. I didn't have to do it manually. Maybe they're like what we always say, when you are using generative features, nothing goes unchecked, right? So be sure that when you have filters, just like, oh, is this accurate? This is pretty accurate. In some cases, because of this is a old document, it wasn't a photo, and I can decide whether this is going to be helpful to keep as an image or not. But this is a way. This is a very long document, but contains images, right? So that's another way in which you can use the label documents. If you have a specific type of documents and you want to have a timeline, you can also create it. I was showing earlier, maybe I want to see what a company is saying of the timeline of its growth, so I can be very specific and mark it. Or I can say I don't want a timeline. Just I don't want to focus on everything and anything. Just create a timeline and get it. The more you know your documents, the more specific, and you will be able to decide how to use these features. You can ask for summary and also like specific questions to your collections. When you ask, yeah, no, it's not here. Yeah. So these are some of the how you can start seeing. I want to be very mindful of the time. We have 3 minutes left. There's one thing that I think is very important. I have worked always in collaboration, and one thing I was mentioning, like when you can share your document with others. So let's say that I am working with a reporter here, or with an organization. You can share your collection, and when you share your collection, I'm gonna I'm gonna put my friend Erica. Let's say that I want to share with her. I can decide what type of to people, right? Like if you want to share, like, oh, I want to share with my collaborator, we are writing the story together, we are adding documents to the collection, we are highlighting, selecting, asking questions, we are highlighting things, elements are going to the story. You add it as an editor. You want someone that is only going to be reviewing, you don't want them to change anything, you use the viewer. So that's very important when you are sharing documents and collaborating with others. When you publish, um, when you want to make a collection public, and I think this is really beautiful, is that you can change the name, you can add a description, and if you already write stories that use that collection, you can add the title and the link here. So whoever has access to your once this repository of public collections that we were seeing, the one with the AP and newsrooms around the world have been uploading documents in their specific stories, you can start adding them. So whoever goes to the collection is going to be able, what stories have been done with this? And I think it's just like another way of giving that space for your for your stories to be seen. One final thing before I forget, and this is because I mentioned it. There is something that I said when we highlight, it is right there, but I'm going to use a different highlight. You can select when you are reading a document. Let's say you decide to upload a transcription of a public speaking, how's it called? The State of the Union, right? You upload the transcription, and you want to understand, like you have one sentence from the State of the Union. I have this annual report. I select the sentence and I use the AI feature to explain in context. And what it's going to do is going to create as an explanation of that very specific sentence according to the context of the document where I am asking. Again, when we have very, very large documents and we are just starting to make sense of something, we want to it's very helpful to start approaching to understanding. And here, look all the ways in which it's giving me 15 sources within the same document to understand that very specific sentence that happens also to be the slogan of a company, right? So it's just a very interesting way of starting exploring documents that otherwise will take us a lot of time. I want to stop here because of the time. I haven't had a chance to show you getting structured information. It will take me 10 minutes or less, but I just want to be sure if you want to see it or if you have a question or a reaction, or what do you think of what Pinpoint offers you so far?
Anybody have any questions?
I have one. This is Sydney with National Press Foundation. Are all of the elements and features of Pinpoint free, or are there some parts that you have to pay for?
Everything is free.
Awesome, thank you.
And this is Kevin. In terms of help when it's needed, how do you go about doing that, and how accessible are you all? From day to day.
Yeah, you mean help from the Pinpoint team?
Yes.
Yeah, there's an email. You can send an email, and in terms of me as a trainer, I'm gonna include a link to my calendar, and if there's something you want to chat about the specific, I'll be happy to schedule a 30-minute call. And if we need more time, that's what we offer. We trainers, our work is to help and teach you the tools, and the team, the Pinpoint team is super responsive via email. Yeah. Do you think I know that only one person knew the tool, so I'm curious to know what are your first reaction? So since you are seeing it and learning a little bit more for the first time, would you want to give it a shot, try, have?
Yeah, a lot of nods. I think it's one of these things that you don't know how effective it could be until you get your hands on it, right? So I think that's probably where a lot of folks stand.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely. And there are a couple, like a few more tools that can be helpful for you. One, we have a training on Google Trends if you want to, like, how use it for understanding what people are searching. And also we have trainings on Gemini and Notebook LM, that these are another generative AI. Well, Gemini is the Google's chatbot, and Notebook LM, that is an amazing tool also for analyzing documents from different features than Pinpoint. And they're also, the three of them share some overlaps, which I think is very interesting to understanding what serves to our work when we see all these features. If you are going to test it and use it for the first time, I always say just start one by one. Don't try to do everything at the same time. Test it and understanding what will work better for you depending on what you need.
Okay. Well, great. Well, we can't thank you enough, Mago. Thank you so much for this long distance instruction.
Yeah, of course.
All is well in California, and thank you. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. I will send the email, Kevin, and just for all the information to be shared.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you.